my name is Miranda, and today I am here with Sabaa Tahir at An Unlikely Story, newly crowned #1 author. That's exciting. How was it getting that call?
It was really wonderful. I was in Washington, D.C., and I was with my best author friend, Renee Attia, and she was doing her makeup, and I was sitting on the bed staring at my phone, and we were both really anxious, like super. I think she was as anxious as, as I was, actually, which is really lovely because, like, that's true love, right?
Yeah.
It's like someone who's, like, more worried than you are. And so when I got the news, my agent and my publisher called me together to tell me, and I was like, my reaction was probably really disappointing. I was just like, oh my god, thank you, but I was in shock.
We've also come at like this really awesome time where we see like so many like YA women authors like dominating the #1, which is really cool. And you mentioned you're friends with some of them, so what has that been like to see?
It is wonderful. I mean, when Nicola Yoon, who wrote Everything, hit the list, she was the first African American to hit the list, the young adult list, and that was just an incredible moment, and I was so proud of her. Young adult African American debut. You know, she was a debut author, and that was just incredible. It was such a huge moment. When Victoria Aveyard hit #1, it was huge because she was a debut and she was so young, and like she was one of us, and it was just like yes, like you know. And then you know, like there's just your favorite authors when they hit #1, like Leigh Bardugo with you know, with her book, and it was just like so exciting, you know. So it's a really wonderful feeling. When Renee hit #1 with Rat in the Dawn, that was also like lots of screaming and yelling.
What was the process of writing book 2? Because you said you had like book 1, the idea so long, and now like book 1 was out, so there were more than just like you and other like people that you were told like that had expectations and wants for these characters. Was that like added pressure, or did it kind of make it cooler, like, oh, people are really rooting for these characters?
I think it was some added pressure, absolutely. But as far as the process goes, I mean, my process was like chocolate and like procrastination.
Yeah.
I would get up in the morning and I would procrastinate and eat chocolate, and then eventually I would get around to writing, and then I would write like a mad woman for hours and hours and hours. And then I would go home and like blinkingly step into the sunlight and like feed my children and change my clothes and like, you know, that sort of thing, and then I would go back to it at night and keep writing.
So where can we expect the characters to go in book 2?
You can expect the characters to travel further across the empire. You can expect to see them having to deal with things they really just don't want to deal with. You can expect me to push them until they break.
Oh, okay, fun. I've always been interested too, what Hogwarts Houses do you think the characters would be in if you have to sort them in?
I think that Laya would be Ravenclaw, like yours. I think that Elias would clearly be Gryffindor.
Right.
And I think that Helene could be either Slytherin or Gryffindor. I'm not sure.
But like a good Slytherin.
I think she would be a good Slytherin. All my friends are Slytherin. Like all of my friends are Slytherin.
A lot of writers are actually Slytherin.
Yeah, a lot of writers are Slytherin. So most of my friends are Slytherin. So I think there are a lot of good Slytherin, and I think that if she was in Slytherin, she would be a good Slytherin. And I think that the Commandant would get booted out of Hogwarts and sent to Durmstrang, where like they do all the dark magic. Like that's probably where she would go. And Keenan would be Gryffindor.
What would you say has been like the best part of actually like, because this was your debut book and it was like so successful and everyone loves it and it's so good, so what's been like the whole like crazy journey of that going on?
I mean, I think the best part is really meeting readers, and I know that sounds like a very like author-y answer, but it is actually meeting readers. On this tour, I have gotten to see people who tell me what the story means to them, and I've spoken with someone who said, hey, I read this book at a really, really bad time in my life, and it picked me up, and I like kept rereading it, and it made me feel better, and like that is the greatest gift that an author can get, because you know, you never dream to think that your book will actually like make a difference in someone's life, however small. You just sort of are like, maybe someone will read it, and then that will be good. So that's probably the best thing is meeting the readers, meeting the fans, and hearing what they have to say about the book.
Have they been very vocal about like the different kind of love interests?
Like the ships?
Yeah, the ships. And
there are people who are pretty vocal. They're like, you know, I'm Helias all the way and I will go down with the ship. There are people who are Elia, and now there are some new ships with the second book that are starting to pop up, so we'll see.
Do you have like a plan for who's going to end up together, or is it kind of like...
I have my OTP. I do, but it's not going to be easy to get there, so we'll see if I can pull it off.
So there are 2 more books in the series.
Two more books in the series.
Is that the plan, or would you like to add more, you think?
I mean, writers always want to add more, but I think that 4 books is a good amount to tell this story.
Right. Will there be any more point of views? Because I know Helene's was added for this one. Do you foresee adding any more briefly? Ooh, that means yes. No. And then, what do you think the characters would be like if they were actually in a modern setting? Like, what do you think? Like, what music would they listen to? And stuff
I mean,
like that?
I think that Helene would be, just a badass like her normal self, and I think that she would be unafraid of anyone and anything. I think that Elias would be friendly and would love sports and would probably brood a lot, and would listen to a lot of like the stuff I listen to, like indie rock and like death metal. And I mean, I don't listen to a ton of death metal, but he would listen to more than I do probably. And I think Lai would be a giant nerd.
Oh, interesting. So would she be a book nerd? Would she like the books?
Yeah, she would be a huge book nerd.
What can we expect for the rest of the series then?
Just following the characters as they sort of grow, and hopefully, making sure that they stay true to themselves. And I can't really tell you very much. I'm sort of like I don't remember.
I will say for the best thing, I guess like book 1, I think a lot of it was about like freedom and choice. So
Yeah.
is that continuing in book 2, or does it kind of have its own theme now? Like we're kind of
You will see when you read the
see.
second book.
All
Yeah,
right.
I will let the readers decide.
It also fits in with the whole YA diversity that we have going on right now of wanting more diverse books. So how has the reaction been to having more diverse characters out there and people connecting with them?
Mostly I've just had people happy that there are diverse characters in the book and that there are different cultures shown that as the main culture as opposed to sort of regular Eurocentric cultures. But it's all been very positive.
Last question, how are you feeling like author-wise when it comes to killing characters? Because that can be tricky, so are you like maniacally laughing back
No, I'm more in my characters if I hurt them. I feel like killing characters just to kill them isn't right. It's almost like you don't kill a character. The character dies and you tell that story.
Okay.
As opposed to, me being like, who shall I kill next?
I just feel like it's a big thing like hanging over all of them is the idea that it could happen.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And
Thank
everyone
you.
make sure to check out the book if you haven't already. It's fantastic and it's got new characters, new ships apparently. So there's tons to check out, and thank you so much for being here.
No problem.
All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.